Hey everybody on YouTube, Karl Alexander here, and in today's video, we're taking a look at the new Skyrim Special Edition. Let's get started. The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Special Edition was released on October 27, 2016 for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Windows PCs. It features the same gameplay and story as 2011 Skyrim, but with an updated engine, new visual effects, and the addition of mods to current-gen consoles. The PC release was free to anyone who had Skyrim Legendary Edition or $40 otherwise, and the console release price is $60. So first off, the most obvious improvement and update to Skyrim are the visuals. After updating to the newest version of Bethesda's creation engine, several new graphical effects have been added. These include things like SSAO, dynamic depth of field, temporal anti-aliasing, volumetric god rays, and remastered artwork. While many of these changes are subtle, several really shine through in a side-by-side comparison to the original. The lighting is more dramatic and invokes stronger tones throughout the world. Sunsets and sunrises can be quite striking, and the new god ray effects can really create a very atmospheric scene where the original was a bit drab. However, that doesn't mean the lighting is always great. At times the new system can actually mute colors and subdue the overall effect of an area. But for the vast majority of cases, the new lighting system is a big improvement, and adds a fantasy aesthetic the original lacked. Support for higher resolutions like 4K has been added, but a big downside to this is the texture data. From what I've read and seen online, it appears textures have been simply recompressed to look better at higher resolutions. So while they do appear sharper at times, certain areas can look straight out of an N64 game. The only logic to this I can see is the vast amount of texture packs people have already made through the modding tools. But really, that's getting the community to do your work for you. Using community-made high-res texture packs is always great, but they can lack the uniformity and overall cohesiveness the original authors could provide, so the simple recompression here is a bit disappointing. A common thread about the Special Edition seems to be focused around its softer image quality compared to the original. While I can see where this comes from, I for one found the game in motion to be much more pleasing to the eye. The original can look sharper in a still moment, but its rough edges aren't very pleasing to look at in motion. The new temporal anti-aliasing and SSAO do a lot to smooth out the jaggies and give the game's shadows more depth. Overall, if you've never played Skyrim with mods, then this is a direct upgrade that will probably impress. It's still Skyrim. The models and textures are all rendered with the same amount of definition and textures, just with some new visual elements laid on top. The name really gets it right. It's a special edition, not a remaster. Now, the elephant in the room for the PC community is that this game pales in comparison to the 2011 original with high-end mods and ENB shaders. On one side, I see the community's overall dislike of the new visuals, since it doesn't add much for them, requires new builds of mods, and could possibly split the community. But on the other hand, you have engine-level improvements and rock-solid performance, which could open up the game to another 5 years of modding. For me, the upgrade to a 64 executable with better multi-core CPU support trumps the hiccups in the mod community. I think overall it's a better experience with great in-game lighting and a simple path to upgrading previous mods. I don't see much of a downside here. Obviously there will be outliers and certain mods will have been abandoned by their creators, but for the most part I think we'll see the same great content coming to the Special Edition. It just may take some time. As for mods on consoles, it's certainly a controversial subject to some. I've seen a lot of discussion that modding shouldn't be a simple click and install process for console users, as it will obscure the way they work. This isn't far off, as the Steam Workshop mods from the original was heavily criticized by the modding community, and for good reason. The overly simplistic installation process produced a lot of issues and seemed to separate the user base, with many failing to understand the effort that goes into modding or how they even worked, leading to users with broken installs, corrupted save files, and constant crashing to desktop that comes with Bethesda modding. Introducing mods to consoles does in a sense add a layer between the creators and users, as Bethesda.net doesn't have the same community-driven feel that, say, the Nexus does. You're going to see a lot of issues of load order and dependencies. It can be frustrating to see people harass mod creators without any idea of the hard work these people do. But even with those issues, offering some mod support on consoles will open up the idea to more people, and who knows, some of those people may go on to make great mods themselves. I don't think exposing more people to mods is a bad thing. It may have a few bad consequences, but it's just as bad as the PC community can be, except it's a larger audience. A side note that also needs to be mentioned are the limits to PS4 modding. Because of issues between Bethesda and Sony, user-made assets cannot be used in any mods. This severely limits the kind of things you can do. Sure, there are a few mods that will make your game better, but you won't be getting any new custom weapons, armors, character models, gameplay overhauls, or user interfaces, which is disappointing. Overall, mods on consoles is certainly an interesting idea, especially considering how developed the mod community already is. Only time will tell if creators will embrace this new version, and I for one hope they do, even with all the limitations to the consoles. Skyrim Special Edition is an odd piece of software. It's great to get a modern classic looking better and playing on a new set of consoles, but at the same time $60 is a heavy price when the experience itself hasn't changed. The PC console price difference perplexes me. $40 would have been a decent price overall. I'm not sure how pricing is handled on consoles, so it could very well be a hard limit set by Microsoft and Sony, but whatever the reason, it really hurts the value of this title. Mods are great and have kept me coming back to Bethesda games since Oblivion, but I'm not sure they're worth $60 for console owners. Considering the user asset limitations on the PS4 version, I can't recommend it at full retail price. The Xbox One version is a better value, but you're still paying full retail price for a 5-year-old port with some new fancy lighting and a less open mod ecosystem compared to the PC. For PC users like me who got this for free, there's nothing to complain about. It's an updated version of a wonderful game. Playing this at 60 FPS with a few of my favorite mods has been great, and with more and more mod creators porting their creations over to the new tools, it can only get better. Sadly, this isn't a title I can just say buy or don't. Just like the BioShock Remastered series and Call of Duty 4 Remaster, the value is totally up to you. If you've never used mods because of their relative complexity, then the Xbox One version might be a great option. If you've never played the game on PC, then it would be a great jumping off point. I wish I could say more, but sadly in the end, that's about as good a recommendation I can give. Okay everybody, that was my video for this week. I hope you liked it. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, I think you know what to do. Leave me a comment in the comment section and hit that subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this one in the future. And coming up soon, I'll have another video. Not exactly sure what it's going to be on yet, but it should be soon, and I'll see you then.